Centripetal Farce, take 2. Alright, this is a follow-up. I don't know if this will be the full part 2. I'm sure there's more to come, but this is a follow-up to Centripetal Farce part 1. Let's review some of the evidence for the centripetal force as it was named by Newton. Newton came up with the name after basing it off of a notion put forth by Huygens, which I don't recall the exact details of right now, but it doesn't really matter for this. Okay, so centripetal force. Let's see what we're seeing here.
The marble's moving in a circular path. The wall of the roll of tape is applying a centripetal force inward on the marble, causing it to go in that circular path.
This is my computer, old laggy.
Force is removed. The marble, because it has inertia, will...
Let's start over again.
The marble's moving in a circular path. The wall of the roll of tape is applying a centripetal force inward on the marble, causing it to go in that circular path. If that centripetal force is removed, the marble, because it has inertia, will move in a straight line.
So he's saying the centripetal force is the ring of tape. Or it is the string in the case of something being spun. That is the claim. Let's just keep going here in our list. After the commercial, right? Come on, let me skip it.
The game is changing, but what drives the game never will. What you have inside.
Next. Oh, of course. We all can relate with that.
At first glance, centripetal force looks strange. Consider this situation. The moon revolves around the Earth. The moon has a velocity as shown at a particular instant.
I don't even know where to begin with this demonstration. They're trying to demonstrate centripetal force with something that nobody can say that they have seen or can identify with. Just something that we're all told is true. So, yeah. I don't even think that was the one in my playlist. What the heck? Let me go back one. Oh, it's showing a playlist. Let's see here. Show the playlist. Okay, you bastard. See, that wasn't the next one. It went to a different one. Oh wait, maybe it is. Savins, it is. Alright. That's the only one I hadn't watched. I'm not even going to deal with the space aspect. Let's have some real world examples of centripetal force, shall we? Shall we? Let's try the Science Asylum. Oh, this guy's great. This guy's great. Full screen.
Welcome to the Science Asylum. I am Nick Lucid. Have you ever noticed how weird things feel when you accelerate? If you're in a car moving along the road at a steady speed, then everything feels normal. As far as your senses are concerned, you're sitting still and everything else is moving around you. The only reason you know you're moving...
Clearly.
You're moving is because you've learned that things like trees and houses don't. Your wisdom brings you to that conclusion, not your senses. It's what we call an inert...
Hold the So, when you're in a moving vehicle... You only by your knowledge know that you're moving. There's nothing else lets you know. There's no forces pushing you around that let you know? Okay.
Inertial reference frame, or IRF. In contrast, let's say you're sitting at a red light with a hanging pendulum. What? You don't have a pendulum hanging in your car? Weirdo. As you accelerate forward, the pendulum moves toward the back of the car. So it seems to someone sitting in the car there must be a force. It's an illusion. No. It's what we call a fictitious force.
This is a fictitious answer. We feel the force because we're accelerating. We don't look at the pendulum going backwards and think some invisible force is causing it to go backwards. We feel the same force. It's the force of our acceleration. There's an acceleration force. Dork. Moving right along.
Or a force that's only there when you're looking from a certain perspective. In this case, the perspective is inside an accelerating car. What you might call an accelerated reference frame. Or
how about we just call it acceleration?
ARF. Things get a little more interesting when you're traveling in a circle. Rotation, even at constant speed, is always accelerated. So let's have some fun with it. This is a merry-go-round. It took me a while to find one of these. Apparently,
They're dangerous.
they've been removing them for child safety or something. There are newer ones that meet safety regulations, but they're really expensive, and they look stupid too. I mean, at some point you have to let kids make mistakes. Some of the best stuff in life can cause temporary pain. Anyway, a spinning merry-go-round is an accelerated perspective. If you're off of it, it's clear that it's the merry-go-round that's spinning. If you're on it, it looks like everything else is spinning around you. But things feel a little strange. So let's bring that pendulum back for a moment. Sitting on the spinning
Pulling it out. Oh, look at that. Something's causing it to go out.
merry-go-round, the pendulum appears to swing outward away from the center. So from this perspective, it would look like you need a force on the pendulum pointing away from the center. This force is what we call a centrifugal force, or sometimes mispronounced centrifugal force. It's fictitious. It's an illusion. You only feel like you need it because there doesn't.
Keep in mind, they're saying that a solid thing rotating with mass all the way out to its periphery and something that's on a string spinning are subject to the same force.
Doesn't appear to be any other reason for what you're seeing. Standing on the ground, though, you get a different perspective. The pendulum is accelerating in a circle, so the outward centrifugal force is completely unnecessary. What does exist, from both perspectives, is the tension in the string. That's a real force, and it has two components. Part of it is balancing the weight of the pendulum, the other part
Is gravity, of course. Ah, sure. Or, in light of, if neither one of those were the case, the mass of the pendulum, by being forced to move in a circular path, is creating centrifugal force which exerts outward. I can refute their... Wait till we get to the better proofs. This is just kind of... This is their premise, though.
is causing its acceleration toward the center. This center-seeking force is sometimes called a centripetal force, and it's the net force toward
It's sometimes called that. I believe it's pretty much all the time called that.
the center. Net force is found using Newton's
At least since Isaac Newton coined it when he made up the force. Carry on.
second law. The total force toward the center equals mass times acceleration. Or in this case, mass times rotational speed twice times your distance from the center. It's stronger when
That equation measures the force outward, not inward. Jedi mind trick.
the merry-go-round spins faster, or when you're further from the center. Since it's only a net force, it could be made of an entire single force, like the gravity on the moon from the Earth, a part of a force, like the pendulum on the merry-go-round, or multiple forces together, like cars experience on a circular ramp. The fictitious centrifugal
Yes, if you're in a car, I can't count the, all the times I've been in a car and have been slung to the inside of the corner because of the centripetal force, right? Sarcasm. It's one of my
force has the same strength, opposite direction, and only exists in the rotating frame. On the merry-go-round, off the merry-go-round. On, off, on, off, on, off. Get the picture?
No, asswipe. Douchebag.
But when I'm on one, I can feel the outward force. Actually, that's not what you're feeling. Feeling something might make it a real experience, but that doesn't make it a physical reality. The merry-go-round...
Of course, we can't believe our senses. We need to believe what Newton said long time ago next. Okay. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that one next year. Let me go to this one here. Where was I? Okay. Wrong other direction. Centripetal versus centrifugal force. It's not really. Oh, this guy's is okay. Well, here's the one I was looking for though. There's no comments available on this one for some reason. Check it out. He says centrifugal force does not exist. Now this is one of the best, frauds for centripetal force is this demonstration.
Okay, what I've got here is a simple apparatus made with two mason jars filled with water, upside down, bolted to a rotating arm.
Now, this is a demonstration of centripetal force by all definitions, right? Just stating that for the record.
See in the jars are a couple of fishing bobbers tied to a string which is attached to the lid at the bottom. And the question is, when I spin the apparatus, what's going to happen to the fishing bobbers? Will they stay where they are? Will they point to the outside of the circle? Will they point to the inside of the circle? Or will they point forward or backward in the direction of motion, say tangentially to the circle?
Spin it faster.
Hopefully you can see it. If not, we'll go the other way.
As we can see, the balls are moving inward. If you want to know why the balls are moving inward, it's not due to centripetal force. The balls are moving inward because they float. As the apparatus is spun, the centrifugal force acting on the mass of water pushes the water outward, increasing the density of the water at the outer as opposed to the inner. And the bobber then wants to float to the top of the water because it floats. It's less dense, it moves up there. This is a proof of buoyancy and density, not of centripetal force. What are we seeing, sir?
So it turns out the bobbers do in fact point toward the inside of the circle, which is a demonstration that the force acting on an object traveling in a circular path is pointed radially inward, also known as a centripetal force.
Okay. So
Same thing viewed from above, just to remove any doubt.
Just to remove any doubt as to the understanding of what you're seeing, maybe. Come on. Okay, so tell me. Which would it be? Centripetal force, which cannot be seen, cannot be given. Example cannot be given of it showing something to be moving in. This is clearly the pressure, or excuse me, the density increasing of the water because of the force moving outward, causing the bobber to want to float because it is less dense. And then where does it float? It floats towards the inside of the rotation because that's where it's less dense. I mean, so this is no proof of centripetal force. This is proof of buoyancy and density. Let's try this guy. Doc Shyster. These are all old too. They're all 11, 12 years old, most of these.
I'm really very interested in addressing a dangerous misconception. A lot of people think that there is a centrifugal, that's how that word's pronounced, a force that is forcing things out of circles, and things don't want to move in circles because of this force that exists to make them bust out of the circle. And really what's happening is, well, you can watch another video on that, but this is just a quick demonstration.
I don't recall any of the... It's like a flat earth debate or something. Is there people claiming that things don't want to move in circles? Dork.
Demonstration video to prove to you that things don't have a force pushing them out of a circle. As the ball rolls around and I release
it from its bound path. Why was the ball going?
I'm going to do that a few more times until you completely...
Why was the ball moving in a circle? Because the centripetal force was acting on it. How come it's not always moving in a circle? You have to put something there before it'll act upon it? You have to have that barrier. The barrier is the reason it's moving in a circle. Is that not obvious?
Believe me.
I can't believe they
See which way it went? Alright, what about this guy here? How about this? Whoa, not that fast. See which way it goes? Study carefully which way the
it goes into a straight line because its momentum
goes, and you will learn about why the ball is doing that. And the ball, I think...
The ball is doing that because it's exerting outward pressure, and when you remove the barrier, it continues to move outward, but without the barrier keeping it in a curved path, it no longer stays in a curved path. That in no way proves that this is a real thing. This is BS. It was put in there to bolster gravity. Because gravity is BS too. It's density and pressure, just like the previous experiment was showing. Let's let him finish here, though, I guess. I don't see why.
Just wants to...
So we can be lied to some more. Oh,
What? It wants to go in a straight what? It wants to go in a straight what?
In a straight line.
Why does it want to do that? Why does
Because you remove the circular
everything
path.
want to do what it has been doing? This is Newton's first law. So this is...
How many comments you got on this? 763. Oh, what does this guy say? Centripetal force is a make-believe fiction to confuse the fact that at the polar axis, the other make-believe force of gravity would be pulling down at a 90-degree angle relative to the outward pull of centrifugal force derived from rotational velocity. You must believe. I don't need to comment on it. Anyway, what's this one look like? This one I haven't seen either, so let's take a peek. No space, I hope.
Imagine swinging a rope around in a circle with a can attached to the end.
Okay. And who hasn't done that?
The can is in a constant state of acceleration since its velocity is constantly changing due to its circular path. Acceleration of the can is caused by a net force acting on the object. In the case of an object moving in a circular path, the net force is called centripetal force or center-seeking force and is always pulling an object toward the center of a circle. Without this force, an object will continue moving in a straight line motion. The centripetal force is the tension on the...
So, they're not addressing why the can moves outward in this path. You have to put something in motion, cause it to go in motion, and then they're saying that the tension on the string is the cause of the circular path, which it is here. The string is the cause of the circular path, but it's not the cause of it going in a motion. The energy is derived from somewhere else. Whatever. Okay, continue.
Rope. The centripetal force is equal to mass times velocity squared divided by the radius. As these variables...
Compare this to the last one where the ball was spinning on the inside of the loop. There was no string providing a path for the centripetal force to exert itself upon, yet they're still claiming that it was centripetal force that kept it moving in a circle, not the clear ring around the outside that was forcing it into that path. This is a string keeping it in that path. But still, you see here, nothing except them saying it is an example of a force that moves inward. There is no inward force being shown here. They're just saying there is. It's a Jedi mind trick.
Change, so will the centripetal force. An increase in mass or velocity, or a decrease in radius, will result in an increase in the centripetal force. A decrease in mass or velocity, or an increase in radius, will result in a decrease in the centripetal force. A change in velocity results in the largest change in centripetal force. If the rope is cut, the can will no longer maintain a circular...
Centrifugal force increases with radius. The longer the string is, the larger the path it has to move through, the faster it's moving, and the more force... the more tension it will bring because of the force pulling outward on the string. I mean, come on. Anyway, I don't really, I've made my point on that. Whether you're going by this example of, let's see here, If you're going by the ball here, you know, inside of a path, you know, ask yourself on this one here, whenever it starts.
I'm really very interested in addressing
what's keeping the ball in the curved path? It's centripetal force. It's not this solid barrier here forcing the ball to remain in this circular path, which it would move tangential in a straight line away from if that blockage were not there and it were moving. You provide the force, it moves. You remove the barrier, it continues to move. A force in motion, like as Newton's first law of body in motion, will continue to stay in motion unless acted upon. True. But this is no way shows an internal seeking force. And then they're saying that the same force exists when the circular path is kept by a string in the middle too. Do you see how blatantly deceptive that is? It is a total fraud. And all of these, all the mainstream official sources, they uphold it religiously though. Oh, they get mad if you don't believe it. Because it's clearly not true. You know, all I got to do is refer back to my damn video of where'd it go here? To new. Let's see here. See if we got anything here. On the other screen. There we go. Try not to make this too much longer. It's already been, what, 21 minutes, so what's up here? So, again, no. Oh, well, this is my demonstration for flat Earth. Not my centripetal force demonstration, but, oh well. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, well, we'll just end it here. I mean, clearly centripetal force, there's not one example in all of the examples that can be given that does not have a problem with it. The biggest fraud of them all was this one right here, with the bobbers floating in the water, claiming that is centripetal force acting inward. This is a great proof of centrifugal force.
Okay, what I've got here is a simple apparatus made with two mason jars filled with water, upside down, bolted to a rotating arm.
Probably gonna let it cut out here pretty soon. Yeah, this one is great. The mass of the water moves outward because of the outward force, where its density is increased because of the outward force, causing the bobber to stop floating this direction and begin to float towards the center, which is what would be expected. In no way shows an inward drawing force that shows the bobber's reaction to an increase in density in water. The frauds never end in science. It's just that blatantly bad. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Bye.